Hey guys, what's going on? It's Joseph the Realtor, and today I'm bringing you Bloomfield's final update, and I couldn't do it without my special guest, the star of the show,
me,
the real boss, the real decision maker, Natasha Salas, my fiance. Natasha, what are we gonna go over today?
wow, what an intro.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go over costs, timelines, budgeting, regrets, but most importantly, we wanted to show you the final look of everything because we got so many compliments and questions. So I'm gonna bring you guys inside and we can start the video.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we are upstairs. This was the unit that we were living in, and sadly, Joe got his way because we were saying how long we were gonna stay here, and we actually only stayed here
6 months.
6 months.
6 months and we move on, that's the goal.
So if you're curious how this relationship works, I don't get my way. So yeah, we are now in the second floor. This was a unit that I put a lot of love and fighting with Joe.
I think you should tell them about the first floor too, like what's that renting for and...
Oh yeah, so the first floor, we do have a tenant in place finally, so I'm not sure if we're gonna be able to get any video of that unit.
No.
But there are tons of photos, maybe we can add them or link them somewhere. That was a little bit more of a simpler style design and color scheme. That rented for how much?
3,500. We have a nice couple,
35.
no pets, no kids. I picture them staying here long term. We were very choosy with who we wanted as tenants, as we always are. Natasha handles all the rentals for the office. And I just wanted a tenant who would stay long term, that would respect the space, because obviously both of these units are very high quality. And this unit we have up for how much?
$4,500.
$4,500. So $3,500 and $4,500, that is $8,000 a month, right? Correct. So $8,000 a month would be a nice profit if we can get this unit rented. Again, I'm going to be very choosy and very picky with who we get as tenants.
But for now, I'm gonna let Joe kind of go over all of the hardscape costs. So what you see here, like the walls, the floors, and go over all of that since he paid for it.
So basically to bring it to a shell is what we say. Before Natasha put her own touch on these things, I would say hardwood floors. I'll start at the bottom and make my way up. Hardwood floors. These are white oak hardwood floors.
Just the flooring alone?
The flooring alone, it was $20,000 for the floors and then another $10,000 to sand and stain them and install them. Do I have any regrets on these floors? Maybe. Maybe they're just too nice. However, they are super good quality, and there's a lot of tenants that look for hardwood floors when they do a rental, especially a luxury rental like this.
Also keep in mind when you choose a hardwood floor like white oak, you have the option of going white oak or red oak. White oak, we all love it because it's a little bit more neutral, but there's also another thing about hardwood flooring that I didn't know about before, and that's that there are levels of hardwood floor that you can buy. So basically some hardwood floor is pretty neutral. It's not really veiny and colorful. So we picked the highest level to give it that like... Select to give it that like, what is that?
More even tone. Like if you look at the floor, there's a lot of, it looks very similar. Yeah,
and then some other floors you'll like see it's super veiny and textury and not as calming.
Yeah, and white oak tends to be more expensive than red oak. However, the floor guy said we could have just gotten red oak, high quality, and then bleached it because we actually had to bleach this too.
We didn't bleach this. We bleached the stairs. So when you order stairs,
that's right. Oh my God, that was
you
another
also
thing.
want to make sure that it matches the wood that you ordered for the floor.
Yeah.
Most of those staircases are made in red oak.
Yeah.
So our stairs are red oak when we did bleach those. So they are a little different, but honestly, we could have bleached it and got the same look as this.
Yeah. But we actually did a Bona white seal. So it's a Bona white seal, which is why it's so bright.
So all in $30,000 for the floors.
For the floors.
Both units.
And
that's about...
That's each unit's like 1,600 square feet. So 3,200 square feet of floors.
Right, I agree. Okay, sheetrock. walls?
Sheetrock. So sheetrock, there's 1/2 inch and 5/8 sheetrock.
Oh gosh.
You could do 1/2 inch sheetrock and you'll be fine. However, because it's a 2-family house, I did 5/8 sheetrock. So I did a thicker sheetrock. But on top of that, I did double 5/8 between each floor
Per code.
per code. No, I don't know. I don't think you have to do that. I think you just have to have it fire rated 5/8. But I did double 5/8.
Oh.
So that helps with the insulation and noise. Double 5/8 sheetrock between the floors, and 5/8 sheetrock around the whole house. It's a little bit of a thicker sheetrock. It's better quality. I would say for sheetrock, we spent $10,000 in material and $10,000 to install it. Now the thing about sheetrock is that's just to install it. Then you have sand and spackle. I would say that was another like $5,000. And then to paint the entire house was $12,000. And those prices can vary. You'll probably get prices between $10,000 and $15,000. Some people were telling us $20,000. So make sure you shop it around. Make sure you discuss how many coats are going on the wall. Make sure you're talking about colors, because in the office we did a different color. Make sure you talk about the color of the trim versus the color of the wall, et cetera, et cetera. So painting, about $25,000 for the sheetrock painting, installation, sand, all that stuff.
Okay, I would also like to talk about timeline, because this is a lot of part of the questions that we do get. For the flooring, from the second they deliver the floor, the wood,
yeah. So all
to
right,
this stage, how long
to this
does that
stage.
take?
All right. So the proper way to do it is when you can't deliver hardwood floors until the house has heat. So we had to wait until the heating system was up and running, because the floors should be sitting they have to acclimate. The word acclimate, you want to throw that on the screen if you want to Google that. The floors have to be delivered in the same temperature that the property is going to stay at. So I would say 70 degrees is a safe temperature. So the house has to be at 70 degrees. It has to be at 70 degrees for about a week. And then you get the hardwood floors delivered. And they say a week to 2 weeks for acclimation of the hardwood floors before you install them. That's really important, because if you don't do that, you're gonna get a lot of shrinking, expanding, contracting, and your floors are just gonna look terrible after you spent so much money sanding and staining them.
Yes, which I didn't know, and
Yeah.
really would suck, because they're so expensive and they're so interlocked that fixing it is really not.
These
an
are
option.
glued down too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Glued down.
And
then
also underneath.
And
the plywood.
for sheetrock, how long? Because I know spackling and
Honestly, they
that's all
sheetrock the entire house in like 4 days. Sanding and spackling, they have to sand it, spackle, give it first coat of spackle, sand it, give it another coat, sand it, and give it another coat. So 3 coats. So when your guy is quoting you, whoever you hire to do the sheetrock, sand and spackle, make sure they do 3 coats.
3 coats. And of course, obviously, there's time for drying in between. So.
Yeah, I would say, and that's why the house definitely has to have heat before you sheetrock too. Okay, so we covered the cost of the sheetrock and the floors and painting. That brings us to a complete shell. Now, this beautiful girl right here put her finishing touches on the kitchen. I'm gonna let her describe the kitchen and all of her beautiful choices that cost so much money.
We are now in the kitchen. My pride and joy, my baby. I fought so much with Joe about basically every finish in this house, but the kitchen was something I really, really wanted to just bring to life. I'll start with the countertops. I get a lot of questions about these too. So this is actually a natural stone. It's called quartzite. And then the slab was called Bianco Superiore. And this was a really nice, like, gray taupey color, and there was only about 4 slabs left, and I wasn't sure if there would be enough, because as you could see, we took it up to the wall, and then we also have this amazing shelf. I referenced her in the last video. Her name on Instagram is called iSwoon, and she's designed a couple of kitchens, and they're all stunning. And this is really thick, and it's also super heavy. So the installation of this was something I didn't even think about. And the day that they delivered it in pieces, they were like, okay, we're just gonna glue this to the wall. And I was like, that cannot be right. There's no freaking way. This is probably like 250 pounds. You can't just glue this to the wall and it's gonna stay. Yeah. So I did some last minute research, and what you're supposed to do is basically behind this, you would have left this open and then kind of cut into the beams so that and make this a bit longer than you expected it to be, probably like an inch or so, and then kind of fit that into the beam, and then you would sheetrock it, close it up to know that it's like secure. So I fought with the guy, the fabricator.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's fine, I promise you, this glue is super strong. And I was just like, absolutely not. This is not gonna stay this way. And so after arguing with him for like 2 days, he came back and then he did like kind of notch it in so it was more secure. So far, minor cracking.
I mean, it's pretty strong. Like you could,
but
it's not going anywhere because it's glued and it's notched with the beams. So what they did was they put wood screws into the studs on top of this every stud. So those wood screws are holding it from here. So you literally, there's not movement. You'll notice it's a little cracking right now, but I think that has to do with the temperature change.
Yeah.
And there's common settling with every apartment.
So for the countertops, Joe, how much?
I think you should also tell them that this is readily available. This is like a newer thing, quartzite. Because a lot of people say, oh, that's quartz, but it's not. Quartz is actually more delicate, right?
Yeah, I guess
quartzite takes a beating.
Yeah, you're right. We should talk about that a little bit more. So with quartz, it's what everybody's using now, and that is man-made stone or slabs of countertops. However, they're extremely porous, and so is marble. And I love marble. I love the Calcutta, the veins, and all of that. However, we're just really not careful, and by we, I mean Joe. And I have to say, I am so surprised. This is a matte finish, but it is sealed and finished.
Yeah.
It just feels like a natural raw stone, but it's not.
I mean, I would chop away at this.
Yeah, we
This
sold
thing takes a
wine,
beating.
we have oils, all of that stuff. In the downstairs unit, we did get a quartz countertop, and just like cup rings are permanently on there.
Yeah.
So if you are building something that you want to live in and you guys are not careful, I would go with the quartzite 100%. The marble, again, I've heard wonderful things, but it's super, super porous.
Marble's gorgeous, and you have to kind of reseal it every year. But I think if we build another house, we're doing quartzite.
I would want to do quartzite.
Yeah, I would do this
find
again.
the right slab.
But we should also tell them what we would do differently with the quartzite. I think honestly we'd hire a different fabricator, because.
Oh damn! You're just gonna throw him under the bus like that?
I mean, they don't know who he is, but I'll say this: like, he's great. Our fabricator's great, but when you're choosing the slab, I would say definitely choose a slab that
you want to look. Okay, so I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So the one thing we totally effed up and didn't think about was when you do pick out the slabs, they're just these massive rectangles, and you don't know where it's gonna lay. So when we originally got this slab, you'll see that the stone naturally has this
vein
you want
in
to
it.
show here, like this white, weird, bony color that really pops out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not pretty. So what happened was we got that, and it was much larger, and it just spanned across this whole area.
Yeah.
And that was just due to poor planning. So when you are making a really nice custom kitchen, you do want to take the templates. So when the fabricator comes to measure the countertops and what you want to do, if you do a shelf or the backsplash, they'll do these templates.
Yeah.
So they'll take those templates, and you should go with the fabricator and exactly pick out where you want the veining and cuts to be.
Yeah.
So you don't have some like really awkward
it's
hang
called
in the middle.
book matching.
No, that's not called book matching.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
What's it called?
It's just picking out where the templates are gonna go
Yeah, it's called
on
book
the
matching.
slab. No,
promise
book
you.
matching is when you like take a piece of stone and then it like goes like that.
I think a simple Google search will. I think we tell them, like, all right, why did I wanted the countertops to be the backsplash. I don't like a backsplash because when you're doing a rental unit and you have a backsplash, what tends to happen is food and cooking grease gets on the back of it, and in between the grout it gets dirty and cracks over here. So I like the cascading backsplash. So when you do a cascading backsplash, you want this. See this vein right here? It would be cool if like this vein went up and matched here. So I think I'm just gonna see if my Google search is right. Aha! I am right. See? This is what it should look like. I don't know if you can get that in the camera, but where the vein kind of ends and it comes up and it looks like a more uniform piece.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. So it would like you're cutting the slab as if this is exactly how it was gonna fold into 3D. Or some people will just like take these rectangles and then throw the templates around. They don't know what template is touching another template. Then yeah, but that's not what I was worried about, and I didn't care if it matched in that sense. I just didn't want to get like a really ugly part of the stone in a really main area, like in front of this gorgeous Thermador 36-inch stove.
And that's what happened, actually.
So that's what happened, and then the fabricator was like, oh, that looks bad. And then he was really kind, because we've worked with him a ton in the past, and he actually ripped it off the wall and then recut it. But then we got this new seam, which we didn't have before because they no longer had that one long piece of slab. If they would have just cut it correctly the first time, it wouldn't have been a problem. But now we had to get another piece of stone and then put it to finish on the wall.
Yeah.
So things like that, I would keep in mind if you're doing a really nice kitchen. You really need to go there with the templates and get a visual of like what is going to be in what part of the kitchen.
Yeah. Because some fabricators don't have a big enough machine or a big enough truck to transport such a long, weird piece. Like if you notice, like this is all. Is there a piece here? Here is. So there's a piece here, and it's okay to bookmark. For the seam to end here. But I would have preferred, if you're doing a more high-end kitchen, have the countertop be one piece from here to there. And I know that like is ridiculous, right? Because you have weak parts here, but ideally it would look fantastic. And for that whole thing to be one piece instead of two. And for this whole thing to be one piece instead of two right here. And I think it was really annoying because the fabricator, when he first came here, he brought this whole thing as one piece. And then the second time he came here, he's like, oh no, it's too long, I couldn't do it. But realistically, he could have. I know he could have because he did it initially.
He would have had to cut a new slab,
Yeah.
which just increases costs. Okay, so another thing I wanted to talk about in terms of countertops was per code we had to have electrical on the islands. And the downstairs islands worked out because we were able to put it on the side. However, with these cabinets, we had functioning drawers that we needed, and we don't have as many cabinets as we do downstairs because we have no top cabinets. So we really didn't want to mess with these drawers or not like put a big notch in them. So the only other option we had was to put them here. And you can do this in a really nice, tasteful way. If you get the right insert for electrical, and then you can go with your fabricator and then they will cut this out, and then they'll also like sand it and make it perfect, and then that would have just sat on top of that electrical plug, and it just looks seamless, and you would just push down and then that would come up, and you wouldn't have these effing white stale electrical plugs that we now have to do.
But they're cool. It's cool that they're there.
But the little things that I wished I thought of or had more time to do. We could have gotten them, but we just were short on time, and
they also
like,
come in different colors, but due to availability of supplies in COVID, we could only get them in the stark white.
So total for the countertops, they were
$12,000.
How much for the slabs?
All in with installation. Usually when you buy the slabs through the fabricator, you pay for everything. And it was $12,000 for these.
For this kitchen.
That includes this little shelf that you wanted so bad, which I think is great because you put your spices on there.
Very cute. Very
and it looks great.
aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. What about this bad boy? You wanted this?
So this, I wanted a nice hood. I didn't want those like standard stainless steel hoods that just go to the roof that comes with the appliance package.
Yeah, I think those are trending out right now.
Yeah, so now people are doing cool things with the hood, and I wanted to keep it a little bit more traditional. So this hood I got from hoodsley.com. They have a couple options, and you can customize the lengths. So they vary between like 3 feet to 6 feet, and I think they might go up to 9 feet depending on your kitchen.
Yeah.
And this was just a little too long, so our contractor did cut like an additional 4 inches because we thought we would have high ceilings here, but the way that the roof turned out, we could only do these trays. We couldn't lift the entire ceiling. So this, I think, was about $1,100, and it came with this insert, and we talked about the CMFs in the last video for the vent. Yeah. So we have a very high vent, so that was great. But this came unfinished, and we wanted that because we wanted to match the cabinets. So our contractor paint matched with our cabinets, so that was painted after the fact.
For a rental unit, you definitely don't need to do Thermador appliances. I happen to have a client who is a sales rep at PC Richard & Son, so we got a decent deal. I did, however, pay a premium. I think my appliance package was like $12,000, right? But that's an appliance package that's like the fridge alone is $12,000, you know? So there's a lot of, I saved, but I could have saved more by just putting like GE Profile or Samsung appliances. It would have been just fine. But we did want a 36-inch versus a 32. For us, it made a big difference. We have a Thermador microwave in the island. So the appliance package was about $12,000. And then the dishwasher and the fridge, we made sure to be panel ready when I ordered it. And then I'll let you take over.
Yeah, so panel ready, which means, if you don't know what that means, that the dishwasher, you just throw a panel over it and it matches the cabinets. How much were the cabinets, Joe? Just real quickly.
The cabinets were $10,000 for each unit.
So each unit was $10K. These are Fabu Wood brand. Joe was really big on getting Fabu Wood. They are a little bit more pricey, but you kind of don't want to deal with cheap cabinets and having to redo those in the future. So we just went expansive.
Yeah, Fabu Wood is expensive for a rental unit, but a lot of people would put like Forevermark or some cheaper brand of cabinets. But if you're doing like $1 million plus house, builders, if you're watching this, you shouldn't be doing Fabu Wood cabinets. You should be doing custom cabinets.
Yeah, custom always. And then also for the hardware, this I was going back and forth with. We just ended up going to Home Depot and finding all of these. And then my pride and joy,
Pantry wall.
this custom pantry wall. This was a game changer in the floor plan that we talked about in the last video. Some people can't tell, but this is the refrigerator. So this was, again, also panel ready, and we wanted to match it against this wall. I just really wanted it to feel like a piece of furniture. I just think refrigerators are such a big, ogurely appliance. Because they're massive, so I wanted to conceal it, and we didn't have much room, so I'll show you guys the inside. These are quite thin, they're not that deep, but it did allow for a lot of storage. So we kind of just kept food here, Tupperware, some other smaller appliances, and this was done by our lovely contractor, John from NJH LLC. We always link him in our Instagram. He's great. We work with him a ton, and we refer him to all of our clients because he's wonderful. And he did say this was about anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 to create this whole wall. And these are also drawers. So it was tough because it was such a thin space, but we didn't want to make this another cabinet, and I really wanted it to match the refrigerator because or the freezer portion, because this was a drawer. So I kind of wanted to keep that cohesive along the bottom. And then also these handles, I was really torn because there were these beautiful big handles on rejuvenation.com, but they were like $80 each. And this was like towards the end of the renovation. The costs were just piling.
We're running out of money a little bit.
And I was like, oh, and it sucks because you get to the final stages of renovating something, and it's all of those last minute things that people see and stay with people and make it feel worth it. So I didn't want to like cheap out, but I was like, we're not going to be here long. So I ended up finding something not too terrible. Again, also Home Depot. And these are actually appliance pulls. So these were $10 each. And I was just like, F it, I'm just going to order appliance pulls for all of the drawers, even though they're not appliances. But they're super sturdy.
They look great.
$10.
Yeah,
so.
they look great.
And this also, just so you guys know, this is a
oak veneer.
Oak veneer. So it's not solid oak. Again, costs. That would be much more expensive, but it's
Probably
veneer.
double the price, right? Like if we did solid white oak.
Maybe triple.
Yeah.
Maybe
that's
triple.
nuts.
Just because the price of wood is crazy and white oak is so desirable right now. So yeah, we just did a veneer. And a lot of times when you see this stuff in like hotels or restaurants, very often it's a veneer. Just make sure you get a higher quality veneer because these can be cheaply done and then they start peeling and then they look like crap.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the pantry wall, and I think everyone's favorite part of the kitchen, or they always ask about it, but it is custom made.
I think we covered everything in the kitchen, really.
Yeah,
You want to show them the master?
sure.
Master's my pride and joy. Hey guys, welcome to where the magic happens.
Happened. So this is the primary where we lived the most. Actually, no, probably the bathroom, but we'll show you that at the end.
What do you want to talk about in here? I think we should talk about like the little things that we did, like the finishes for the doors, like all these like metal handles. Obviously do matching hardware. I did Lutron lighting. You don't have to do that, but I like these switches because you can pop this part off and you don't see the screw, which is a little nice to notice. I don't like the switches. It looks very cheap. I think there's a lot of little things that you do in a luxury unit versus a regular unit that really make the unit pop and stand out. We did closet systems throughout, which is really nice with lighting. We got quotes from California Closets, just too expensive. I do have a closet guy who built these custom closets. The only difference I would do is I would do a backing so you don't see the sheetrock, but it would be just a little bit more. They were like 1/3 the cost of California Closets, and they're very similar.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't do the backing because once they're full, like your clothes are covering that. So if you wanted to save some money.
Yeah. We have our buddy Chance locked away, but we're gonna let him out. Hey, buddy.
Come on, bud.
Chancey, sit, Bubba. Sit. Sit. Good
So
point.
yeah, to avoid increasing the cost, that's one thing you can do because honestly, your stuff's gonna cover it anyway.
Yeah.
So you don't really see it that much, but these came out really nice. And then we went with the wood color to kind of match with the floors. And I was pleasantly surprised that it matched pretty close because I was very unsure.
And I also did 3-day blinds for the blinds because I didn't want people moving in and out and constantly drilling holes into the sheetrock to put their own blinds in. So these are really cool and they look nice.
How much were those?
For the whole house, we paid, I think it was like $4,500.
For downstairs and upstairs.
Yeah, for all the windows in the house, which was nice. Nice little surprise.
I think it was worth it.
I think it was definitely worth it.
And then we'll show you the other closet, which is
Master closet.
much larger.
So this closet, and that closet, and then the little piece in the laundry room, and then all the other closets in the house, I think we paid $10,000 total. Did I need to spend it? Could I have gotten like that wire system from Home Depot? For sure. But again, little touches that I think will always help me get a luxury tenant, and every tenant, whoever lives here, will appreciate it, for sure.
Also, I will mention, because I think a lot of people go there, is the Container Store. We actually got a quote from them, and we went with one of their simpler closet systems, and it was still like almost double than what
Yeah,
this
it didn't
guy.
make any sense. So if you guys need a good closet guy and you're my client, I got you. I got a great closet guy.
We'll send you his number.
My favorite part of the house, the master bathroom. Let's check it out.
Okay, so now we are in the primary bathroom. This was probably my second favorite. I think the kitchen will always be number one, but this bathroom, oof, so much happened, so much fights.
Fighting.
So many fights we had in front of tile reps. I tell everybody the story because it was just so cringe. Joe would pick a tile and he'd be like, "This is the tile. This is the one. This is the one, babe." And then I'm looking at him like literally twitching, like, "No, it's not," trying to be nice in front of the sales rep. And then he's like, "Nope, this is the one." He's like, "Can you get me a price? I want this one. We need X amount of square footage." And then the sale rep is like, "Okay, no problem." She's like crunching numbers. And I'm just like, this isn't the effing tile. And so we basically just kept doing that for about 2 weeks.
4 years. No, I'm kidding. It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and then I think he finally got me to my breaking point, and then he felt bad, and he was like, "Okay, pick the tile you want." And really the only thing that we agreed on, unfortunately, was the expensive tile. So The reason the bathroom is so nice is because this tile is not cheap. The floor is a herringbone finish marble tile, and I really, really wanted to keep the costs low because this is just an investment property. And here we are 6 months later, not living in it. But
I think it's
came
important.
out beautiful.
I mean, listen, this is a bathroom that I feel like belongs in $1 million plus house because not just of the material, but also the details that I fought for.
Yeah.
Like she fought for details in the kitchen. I fought for details in here. Like, I'll just give you an example. If you look at the way these floors are laid, there is an inlay. It's not just laid to the wall. There's actually a different type of tile that's laid this way, and it creates a little border around the tile, which I think is important to notice. It's not just, there's thought to the way the tile is laid. And also, like, if you notice, this has like a rounded edge instead of just the tile being finished with like an ugly piece of metal. This has a nice rounded edge. What is this called, babe?
Well, the metal that a lot of builders are using because it's cheaper and it's this new way
It's called Schluter.
to finish the edging of the tile is called Schluter, and it comes in a bunch of different colors now. But
And what is this? This is, we have one extra just in case it breaks. But what is this called?
this is called a jolly.
Jolly.
A jolly, which is what I wasn't during this entire process.
Please.
So yeah.
These are like, how much are these?
Oh yeah.
These
So-
are like $10 each, by the way.
No. These are like $17 each.
Oh shit.
Yeah, very expensive.
Careful with that jolly. A lot of times when people lay tile, like we're gonna show you in the master,
Wait, you totally went that way when we're not done.
we're not done. Yeah, what am I doing? We should talk about it since we're here.
Well,
Okay.
now how do we segue?
Well, you shouldn't have
You just
stopped.
started talking about the tile in the shower.
I think we just include all this and just keep going.
F me. Okay,
You want to talk about it? You want
Okay.
to just continue?
sure.
Okay. So, notate when you're doing a bathroom, if you really like give a shit and you want to put a little bit of thought into it, when you're doing the bathroom, obviously make sure the tile lines up. And this goes into like who you hire as a professional. In this master bathroom and all the bathrooms in general, especially this one because this is on the second floor. What is that system called with the ceiling? It's called.
I think it's also called Schluter.
Yeah, it is. It's also called a Schluter system. And it kind of seals it and creates an envelope so that in case there's a leak, it's all contained. But then to take it a step further, the way the tile is laid, if you look at all the squares, they line up. And this is a very important detail. I would say in the shower, you tile the ceiling, but make sure all of this lines up, and it even lines up over here. And this is just the tile guy just putting extra thought. And even if you look over here, instead of the Schluter, we put these jollies, and see the way they're done? And we even put two little squares. That's me and Natasha, if you want to get that. That's cute. Forgot about that.
Yeah. So also just to piggyback on that, so I know it sounds like really common sense, like obviously the tile is going to be straight, right? This is something a lot of people F up, and I didn't think about it. I'm like, well, tile is straight. Like, how do you mess that up? You can mess that up.
Even with the laser.
It actually happened in the second bathroom in the hallway just because of the way the tile was laid, and he was a newer guy trying to like make up for lost time, so he stayed later and he was like, I'm gonna just take it upon myself and lay this tile, and it just like slowly just started turning.
Yeah.
And that's why we're saying it's really important you hire someone who's really good at laying tile, because so much can go wrong. You need to pitch the tile the right way. You don't want water sitting any corners because that'll just create mold and also mess up the, what do you call that, grout.
Yeah.
So tile work is actually
Probably one of the most important things. You can have
Yeah.
a beautiful tile you choose, and if it's done incorrectly, it just looks like shit, and it doesn't last, and it creates problems underneath, and it's a freaking nightmare. So
Yeah.
don't go with the lowest price on tile. I think for tile, how much was the tile and how much was the labor for the tile? Do you remember the cost for the tile itself? I think it was around 16,000.
I think it was about 16. Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
that.
And then the labor to install the tile was another 16,000 because I wanted to make sure it was done correctly.
Yes.
So
So to finish, That was tile. That was the cost of tile for all 4 bathrooms. So, I mean, it's a lot, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah. How much was the tub, babe?
No clue.
The tub was $1,000. And how many times did you use it, babe?
Well, babe, in the 6 months that we lived here,
Babe.
not much.
How many times?
Because we weren't here that long.
Well, how many times? 6 months is a long time. How many times?
Is it a long time?
Yeah.
I would disagree.
Would you say you used it once
Please
a
go
month?
in the comments below if living somewhere for 6 months
Would
is a
you?
long
Well,
time.
hold on. But would you say that you used it once a month? Because if you used it once a month, I'd be okay with it.
Honestly, I did not use it that much, and that will bring me to my good point here. Lessons for you
Don't do a tub.
and financial heartache for us. But this is a really big tub. So I'm a small human. I'm 5'2" and 3/4. So when I got in this tub,
You should get in the tub.
when I got in this with my naked little body, I don't like, and then it's full, I'm just floating, and then I just like slide. So it's really uncomfortable, and I'm way too small for this tub.
You should do the rest of the bathroom in the tub.
And Joe doesn't like to take baths, so
I don't like to take baths. Shower. Don't make it seem like I don't shower at all.
I used it twice,
Joe doesn't shower.
2 times. So it was a $500 bath.
Yeah. I think you should notate how we had to reinforce the beams underneath because once the tub fills up with water, it's very heavy. So this is not just like a problem that we didn't use, an expensive thing that we didn't use. It might be a problem in the future for if a tenant, say we get a tenant who just like loves taking baths.
And they're large.
And they're large, like the water, the
or
tub.
2 large
and another
couples that love to
two
save.
200-pound people in this tub because that could fit.
Oh, that's falling.
And we're fucked, yeah.
We're screwed.
Yeah, so
We're
maybe
getting
we
sued.
should make a note of it in the lease. Don't use the tub.
Yeah, we did reinforce it. I don't think it was fully reinforced.
Yeah,
So we'll keep you posted.
we'll keep you posted. It's a good doggy bath
Yeah. I
or
guess.
kid's bath if you're going to shower a kid.
Yeah.
For those wondering what brand the appliances are, not appliances, the fixtures, they're Ryobel.
Ryobel, which is an off-brand of Kohler, right?
No, I think it's its own brand.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a step above Kohler.
I didn't
It's very
know that.
expensive.
So yeah, we did choose these features, and by we, I mean me. I really like them. They're cool. I just kind of wanted to put something different in this bathroom because Joe picked a vanity, which I don't hate, but I would have picked a different one. And then for the countertop, we did have to make this, and this is also a quartzite. And we
It's
got
pretty cool 'cause it's
super
clear.
lucky because this was sitting in the fabricator's shop, and it was literally like maybe an inch longer on either side. And we just kept fighting with, Joe kept fighting with him.
I really wanted this. I've been working with this fabricator for a few years, and this has always been there for the whole entire time I've known him. And it's been sitting here. Look how gorgeous it is. And if you
he
take a
was
flashlight
like-
to it, it actually shines underneath. It's
It
pretty
can
cool.
glow. But the fabricator's like, I don't think it's gonna fit. You need a little bit of an edging around it. It's too small, it's too small. And he ended up making it work, and it was honestly stunning, beautiful, love
Yeah.
it.
Also the vanity, babe. I wanted a really solid vanity. This is a brand that I have had in other units that last a really long time. It's called James Martin Vanities. Their vanities are cool because they're solid wood, they're soft close, and on top of that, all the drawers have this metal base so the wood doesn't get damaged. It's pretty cool. And they're super, super solid. I just love the way it looks, and it's just quality. I think vanities are often overlooked. People just get like Home Depot vanities, and after like 2 tenants, it looks like shit. It's just like falling apart. The paint is chipping. That's not going to happen here.
And then also we can talk about these mirrors. Again, I thought we would have higher ceilings, so they do make this mirror in a longer length, but we ended up getting this one, which was perfectly fine and proportionate. These are
Recessed.
Kohler mirrors. They are recessed. And another thing to keep in mind when you are going to do a recessed medicine cabinet, one, I think you should do it. Now they're coming out with these really simple ones that aren't ugly and boxy. I would personally do it just for storage, but also you have to keep in mind where your plumbing is or your air vents. There are vents and pipes that run behind these walls when you have plumbing for your fixtures. So you want to make sure they're not there, and you want to notate that to the builder that you are going to be putting a recessed medicine cabinet, These, we got really lucky, and there ended up not being any plumbing behind these, but in the hall bathroom, there was a pipe, so we had to just put a flat, regular mirror there.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I actually wanted these recessed vanities because from my experience, tenants, when they don't have space to store their items, they're going to IKEA and they're drilling these things into the wall for storage. So I thought it was really nice to have a ton of storage. A lot of people with rental units, they'll just do a flat mirror, and that's great, and it's super cheap. But this is a way better alternative because there's less drilling into the wall. And as a landlord, owner of a property, that's something that was important to me. This is why we did the blinds too.
Yes, because one thing I also learned is, as being a renter since I was 17, I would just drill holes everywhere. I didn't think of like what would
You didn't even need to hang anything up. You were just drilling walls.
I was just putting holes in shit. No, to like hang things and like make it cute. And now being where I am in life,
I mean,
there is
fuck the landlord,
so
right?
much stuff behind sheetrock, and I am so paranoid to drill holes, which I didn't think of, like electrical and vents and pipes and all this stuff that I had no idea was everywhere. So be careful when you're drilling.
Actually, we should also tell them that when they're building a house, before sheetrock, it's a really good idea to take a video of every single wall in the apartment, so that when you're doing stuff like this, you can refer back to that video and say, hey, there's a plumbing line that goes all the way up into the attic, an exhaust line or a toilet line or something, so that when you're hanging stuff like this, you don't drill into a problem and create a big problem and headache for yourself.
Yeah, which is what happened in the hallway bath.
Yeah. Ran into a lot of issues, but
we figured it out. And then the last part, not the last part, but one of the other favorite things that I did in this bathroom were these really cool bookcase lighting fixtures. I just found these online somewhere, and I think they were like not that outrageous, like $200 each. And I think they came out really nice.
It's called bookshelf lighting.
Bookshelf light, that's the type of
Bookshelf light.
Is. And I have heard that some lighting is specific to like bathrooms or like wet areas. I did not check that, and to be honest, I think these are just regular lights, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an issue with moisture.
We should talk about why Walter was just here. Our plumber was just here fixing something. We actually lived in this unit for 6 months, and in the 6 months you live in a unit and you learn stuff. But when you're redoing a bathroom and you're redoing the plumbing, the plumber who's doing all of the plumbing should know exactly what brand and style of fixtures you're putting in the bathroom. This way he can plan accordingly. We actually changed this system last minute, and because of that change, we actually had to interchange parts. So we have Ryobel shower head and handheld, but we actually have to change to a Kohler system over here, which makes this unit only operate this and this, or this and the rainfall. It's supposed to be 3 independent units, but we made the mistake of changing it last minute. So the plumber put the wrong guts in here. So Walter was just in here, and we also noticed that we never adjusted the temperature and pressure. Yeah. So now the temperature and pressure is amazing. It's 130 degrees. It can go up to, but we were only getting 110 degrees, which might not sound like a big deal, but when you're showering and you want a really hot shower, it makes a huge difference. Also, now that we're renting this unit, we're sealing all the stuff around, which he just did, and all the corners of the grout are resealed. So important to know, work with the plumber and work with your plumbing supply company so everybody knows exactly what's going inside the unit.
Yes. So we'll talk about all the heating elements in this bathroom, which there's a lot. Joseph, take it away.
I really wanted heated floors my whole life. I really wanted a heated toilet, and I really wanted a heated towel warmer. And all 3 have proven to be amazing.
Okay, so if you want the real review, heated floors was great. I absolutely love the heated floors. It was just warm. This whole room was warm anytime you like went to the bathroom in the middle of the night or super early in the morning, which I loved. But the heated towel rack, I think, was such a waste. Yeah. Mainly because, A, it's a lot of voltage. It takes a lot of electricity to run.
It takes its own 220 line with a direct, breaker in the panel.
Yeah, it's aggressive. It heats very nicely. However, you have to turn it on. And to be honest, I'm not thinking of heating my towel before I shower. I'm like barely on time ever. So we would turn it on and then we would leave it on for like days. So
Yeah.
that was a lot of wasted energy.
Definitely.
So I just kind of trained Joe to just leave it off.
Heated floors were cool. It was like $1,100 to add this before the tile. It's so worth it, and you can adjust it and set a schedule. So you could set your own schedule. Like you wake up at 7 a.m., turn the heated floors on automatically, and it turns off when you leave at 10 a.m. You know what I mean? I thought that was cool.
And then the last heated feature, which I highly recommend as well, in retrospect, is the heated toilet seat.
100%.
That was
I don't think I can live
so
without a heated
nice.
toilet anymore.
That is so nice. We need to get another heated toilet as
We
soon
will.
as possible.
100%.
A warm poop.
I promise.
Is just priceless.
It makes you go so much better.
I feel like it really does.
Yeah, and if you're like me and you're on the toilet, you know, with your laptop, 2 hours later,
Yeah, because apparently men just sit on the toilet
a
for like
thing.
40 minutes.
it's a natural thing.
And it's so weird.
Yep, it's not weird,
Yeah,
it's natural.
camera crew is nodding head, and I don't know why. Like, what are you doing on
They're
the
gonna
toilet?
edit this video on the toilet.
Well, get a heated seat. And yeah, that'll wrap up
That wraps up the master.
the primary bath.
Let's do the outro.
Outro. Okay, so that wraps up the inside, but we did want to talk about some final thoughts, regrets, how we could have saved money, and we also kind of want to talk about the landscaping because it is such a beautiful house. I want to say it's the most beautiful on the block due to landscaping, and that was actually much more than I thought it would be as
Surprising.
well.
Yep, for sure. I mean, the landscaping for this entire house, which we didn't even put sod down, we just seeded the yard and let the grass grow. And the bushes were super expensive. We spent about $12,000 in landscaping between putting down seed, leveling out the land, planting all the plants around the house and the backyard. This is like a shocking expense because I didn't realize how expensive that was.
But then when we were done, the inside just looked so great. And then finally, we got all the trucks off, all of the machines and stuff, and we were just left with like this dirt.
Yeah,
And
and curb appeal is important. It's
Yeah.
important to an appraiser when you're refinancing, cashing out refinancing, or doing work to a property. It's important to a tenant because curb appeal is great. No tenant wants to go into a property and pay top dollar rent, and the landlord isn't even taking care of the outside. So we had to spend the money, and I think it's worth it. It came out beautiful.
Yeah.
We also want to talk to you guys about how we could have saved money because there are a lot of things we did in this house over the top because this is me just trying to break into the luxury rental market and owning luxury rental units. So there was a lot of things I think like, you know, the electrical.
Electrical, like
I did 400 amps. I could have easily just done 200 amps, but I wanted to make sure there was enough juice to the house. So 400 amp service. You could have done a 200 amp service. It probably would have been half the price.
we could have chilled with the recessed lighting.
Yeah, we did a lot of recessed lighting. We did save by putting some fans in certain rooms, but we definitely could have done a lot less recessed lighting because those are expensive when you have a multifamily house.
The hardwood floors.
Hardwood floors, a lot of people will say like, hey, don't put hardwood floors in a rental. I beg to differ. However, we could have done vinyl floors. They would have been 1/3 the price and we could have saved a ton of money there, but I chose to do the hardwood floors.
The windows.
The windows, I did Anderson Series 400 windows. We could have done just a Silverline window for an investment or even an Anderson Series 200 window. It would have been 1/3 or half the price. We could have saved a lot of money there.
What else?
Oh, so many places. I mean, we did save money by doing like concrete instead of pavers.
Yeah, I had to fight Joe on that. He
Yeah.
wanted to do like bluestone pavers, and I'm like, we need to save where we can at this
Yeah.
point. Sheetrock, the thickness of sheetrock, insulation.
Could have saved on insulation. I did soundproof insulation. I didn't need to do all that. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of over-the-top features we could have done, but I think it's worth it. The beauty of real estate is if you buy it smart and you buy in a decent area and you know you can cover yourself in the rent, you'll always be okay. I think the biggest concerns right now in today's market are interest rate and the cost of goods. And also, a lot of people, when they're buying an investment property, what are they scared of?
The interest rate
Well, not besides the interest rate, but when you go, you're the one who does all the rentals.
is having vacancy. So having an empty unit and your mortgage comes every single month and you're not having that rent, help pay that down. So having an empty unit is what we're all scared of. And guess what? We had that happen to us.
Yeah, the first floor was empty for 4 months, and the second floor is currently empty for the first full month in a week. It'll be the first full month it's empty. So a lot of people don't know this, but I think it's smart to end this video on like things that you can write off as a landlord / investor. Obviously this helps you more as a 1099 employee, but it even helps you as a W-2 employee. When you own real estate, there's a couple things. I'll throw them up on the screen. Taxes. Up to $10,000 in taxes is a write-off for you at the end of every single year. Improvements, capital improvements, you can write off against your income every single year. Say you have a 10% interest rate. Yes, that's really high and it increases your mortgage payment. But at the end of the year, your mortgage company will send you a 1099 statement for the interest that you've paid on your loan year to date. And you can write off that entire interest against your income, which is, it sucks because you have to pay it up front.
Yeah, you still have to pay it.
But you write it off at the end of the year, you know, against your income. So bigger refund. And then also another little bonus nugget of information. What else can you write off, babe?
Oh God, I don't like pop quizzes.
You can write off, say you have a $3,500 unit and it's empty for 3 months. You can write off 3,500 times 3 against your income every single year or anytime you have a vacancy. So again, you're fronting the mortgage, but you can write off the vacancy. You're fronting the interest on the loan, but you write it off at the end of the year. So owning a property does help you in many ways tenfold because properties appreciate. There's a lot of write-offs for you. You just have to go through the struggles of renovating, cleaning it up, and paying the mortgage every single month, even though you don't have a tenant.
Okay, now what?
What are your final thoughts? What do you want to leave the public with?
My final thoughts. I would do a little more research before starting a complete gut renovation project.
Research is key.
I think when you're doing something like this, your budget is really important. I know I was alongside someone who doesn't believe in budgeting or trying to keep track of costs, so that was really difficult, but in the end, this was a very expensive renovation, and I want to be really transparent about that because this is really nice, but it was very expensive. And that was also due to just COVID and just supply chain, supply demand. We dealt with a lot of those issues. So half of it was just a bit out of our control, and then the other half was all of Joseph's fault. But yeah, I just want to set expectations on costs on something like this. Yeah. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm really excited and proud at how it came out. But we do plan to keep this forever, right, Joe?
Yeah, for sure. Unless somebody makes me a good offer.
Check back in 6 months.
However, so I also want to say something. I'm really thankful for you being patient and dealing with me and giving me your guidance as far as design and kind of keeping me grounded, because I feel like I would have spent even more money than I did without you kind of saying, hey, what are you doing? Yeah. So my advice to you guys is get a smarter significant other that can guide you accordingly. And,
that makes me feel great.
You guys should follow her on Instagram. She's a great realtor. She does all the rental units. If you have a luxury rental or any just, rental in North Jersey, she can help you find a qualified tenant, credit check, background check, the whole 9. So super important. Natasha Salas Realtor on Instagram. And she has her own YouTube channel, right?
Thanks so much for that shout out. Yes, which I will be posting this on my channel as well. But yes, Natasha Salas.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. I have no subscribers, and I'm way better than Joe, I promise. And way more realistic, too.
And make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, too. North Jersey Realtor. If you have a property, I give free property valuations. And if you like this video, please leave us a comment. Let us know what you think so that we can make more of these. Hopefully they're helpful to you guys, or even if you hate it, tell us you hate it. We don't mind.
We like feedback.
People hate us. People hate me. Everyone loves her.
Thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace out.